It takes work, and then over time, there's the lore that David Gilmour's going to sound like David Gilmour through any amp. You got to play more. That's the main thing. I hope it's an accurate quote, but his quote is that simplicity is the final achievement. You should be practicing. Maybe you're practicing.
Pretty much, yes.
Maybe you're practicing along. I practice along when I'm watching interviews, so that's my excuse.
Yeah,
and I think it's true for most players that have achieved such an identifiable sound. But boy, it helps to have the right gear. It's inconceivable. It's absolutely. It didn't even enter my mind. I don't even think in a fantasy world did I ever dream that you'd be in a rock band, you'd be touring the world, and then eventually, doing your own music in your own way. Because tonight will be the most important gig I ever do.
Hello and welcome to Brudnebrzmienie, a place in Polish internet where I talk about guitars, amps, music, whatever. I'm Artur, I'm your host, and today you will be watching an interview I did with one and only Andy Timmons when he was in Warsaw doing the clinic run in Europe. We're talking about everything, starting from harmonic stuff, how to play stuff on the guitar, ending on Andy Timmons actually reminiscing on his career and trying to figure out if his younger self would actually know that he will be so successful. First and foremost, massive thanks to Andy Timmons for being such a good sport and actually having the chat with me. I've enjoyed it tremendously, and we actually chatted over email about it, and that was like absolutely amazing. Thanks to Ibanez, Polska and Germany for inviting me to this occasion, to actually having a chat with Andy. So thanks to Iga, thanks to Oliver, thanks to Dan, thanks to Mateusz and everybody else who actually made this happen, which is absolutely amazing. The interview takes around 40 minutes, so grab a coffee, grab a snack, I don't know, take your wife or significant other next to you, take your dog, take your kid. We're talking about esoteric aspects of being a musician, so everything, literally everything. I'm extremely stoked. As you can see, this is not faked. If you like what you see, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. There's a bit more English content coming up, depending on how things go. Mostly everything is run in Polish, but yeah, without further ado, please go enjoy.
About the nuts. So
okay, yeah, that had been shimmed. In fact, there was a shim under the neck that I wasn't even aware of, that were done by one of my luthiers over time. And so by taking those shims out, it is louder.
Yeah,
it's resonating a bit more,
like,
and it makes sense because there's not the solid contact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, anyway, so those little quick fixes along the way were actually inhibiting some of the life of the guitar. So having just had those things modified, perfect.
Is that the one? So when you mod things, do you mod things on this? So whenever you get a new one, do you test it out on this one first?
No, well, that's the thing. They're all my Ibanez signature models are influenced by this guitar for sure. I started working with Ibanez in 1991. Yeah, I was still in Danger, and they posed the question: we want to build your ultimate guitar. What is it? And I really didn't know. I was just always happy to own a good to earn and own a good guitar eventually. So we went through the process, and I tried all their they were making the USA customs and maybe RGs at that point. I had a really nice custom RG made in '91 that was black with two purple humbuckers. The Floyd Rose was still happening. I got frustrated with the Floyd Rose eventually because I just like a more vintagey feel. So I had this old neck that was on a parts guitar that Kramer had put together for me, my previous company I was working with. And just the shape of this unfinished old Strat style neck was like, man, that feels like home. Because I'd played a Fender Squier in the early '80s. I was in a cover band in Miami when I was in school, and I think I'm home on that kind of shape. So we put this guitar together. I wanted it to look like Eric Johnson's old 54. Yes. But then and some happy accidents happened where I hadn't tried the Trell Wilkinson bridge. Yeah. So you should try this bridge and check out these cruisers. Because DiMarzio worked very closely with Ibanez, so they were suggesting that pickup. So it was just the way it was made, 31 years ago, and it just worked. Yeah, I love the sound of a proper single coil, and we're working on something like that now for a future guitar. Okay. But so yeah, like I say, this has been my main guitar for 31 years. But in the 2000s, Ibanez collaborated with me to come up with the AT300, which was like antique violin burst, but it was mahogany with a rosewood board. I think it kind of in their essay line.
I think that was the first one I saw when I was a kid. It might in all the catalogs.
So and so that was around the time I did the Resolution record, which is 20 years ago now, crazily enough. And that guitar has a much more forward, punchy, decidedly kind of rock, a little bit more aggressive. But now with the new ATZ 300, it's the happy middle ground between this original guitar, the AT300, and for that matter, the ATZs, which was kind of a roasted maple neck version of this guitar. But this guitar is made with the it's mahogany and with a rosewood board.
So it's closer to the one.
It is, but the difference being those pickups were mounted into the body.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, let's do something with mount them in the pick guard, which is like on the guitar here. So it did kind of open up the top end a little bit more. So, but it's got the punch and the throatiness of what mahogany and rosewood bring.
Yeah.
But it's got more the top end air that the pickups and mounted in the pick guard bring. So I love this guitar. I use that quite a bit on my new record, Recovery.
Oh yeah.
So on some of the tunes like the title track Recovery and Between Brothers, and what was the other song I used it on? Love Is Greater Than Hate. So the more aggressive rock tunes I like, because I love that Resolution tone. It was a really a time of growth in my playing where we did that record with no overdubs. So that guitar had to really sound amazing. You know what I mean? It had that quite a bit of a tone, let's say.
So on the tone quest, because I have a question about, like, extremely technical question about the -6 chord. I think in Resolution you play like
first,
yeah, exactly, and you go over that in such a way that it's basically like singing, right? In some shape or form.
Along the way, especially as an instrumental guitarist, you realize you are the singer.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it is a goal, whether it's always conscious or not. But I'm the singer, and I'm trying to present the melody in the best way I can.
So how do you go about, like, with the ye olde, as we already laughed about it, and then you have this. You have a bit of an other construction. Yeah. How do you go about choosing what serves the song? We're going to talk about serving the song a bit later.
That's okay. No, but that's a great question, and it's instinct and ear, all the guitar tones that I've achieved over time, and then having the instinct to know what's going to speak best. And sometimes you'll see me playing a vintage guitar with a single coil pickup. That's why we're working on a new thing. But you'll see me most with this guitar and the AT300, and then now with the ATZ300. I'll know what's right.
Yeah. Does it come with experience? Like when you start the song, you start writing the song, you have all the setup, and then you have to play over on top of that. Do you know by that time that it's either this one or the other one?
It's usually because I've written the song on that guitar. Sometimes. Okay. But then it's like, okay, what's going to make this better? What's going to fill the track in the right way? It could be the sonic thing. It could be the feel thing. But it's usually just all those things combined. There's no real direct answer to that question. But it is instinct, and it's with everything. With who we become is the collection of all our heroes and things that we've learned by ear. We can learn so much visually, especially now with so much transcription and videos. But what you learn by ear and those sounds and melodies that we store and musical experiences, that's what I really feel we're just trying to rise to that level. Whether I'm improvising a solo or getting a guitar tone or writing a song, I'm trying to attain that level somehow. You never get there. Yeah. But that's kind of the beauty. I can't be Chopin. I can't be Allen Holdsworth. Yeah. Or any of my heroes, it's But it's all about chasing that. It's chasing that, but then and somehow in our, the inability to play like our heroes, but we find ourselves sometimes through the limitations, and sometimes it's the way we collect things. It's the way we kind of put them through our prism that becomes us, and the more variety of things that you take in, which is definitely something that. Not consciously I did, but because I loved anything with guitar. But then it became like I love anything that's played well. So I got really into Charlie Parker when I was in my college years, and just by studying jazz and how he floated his articulations and the way he
I think Parker is the best example, like all the ornithology, all that stuff.
It's so amazing how it's just not this incredible line of notes, absolutely. Yeah. But man, when you hear the inflections and the dynamics and just the pure virtuosic control, that influenced me a lot. And Larry Carlton in the electric guitar realm, you know, I was really getting that from him, from his first solo record, you know, that had Room 335. And it's that, but it comes from that collection of ideas and those things that we're reaching for. Then at some point, you know, with the more time you put on the instrument, and nothing replaces that.
Yeah.
We can watch YouTube and read every form, but man, if you're not spending time on the instrument, you know, we're happy you're watching this interview, but you should be practicing. Maybe you're practicing.
Pretty much, yes.
Maybe you're practicing along. I practice along when I'm watching interviews, so that's my excuse. Yeah. You got to play more. That's the main thing.
Like I think chasing the tone is one thing, but actually practicing and getting the tone. That's the.
It takes work, and then over time, you know, there's the lore that, you know, David Gilmour's going to sound like David Gilmour through any amp. And I think it's true for most players that have achieved such an identifiable sound. But boy, it helps to have the right gear. You know, it's like you can get through a lot of not so great gear by just the instinct. There was one tour I worked with Olivia Newton-John for about 15 years, and there was one tour we did where we were playing with orchestras, so we couldn't have amps on stage. But the technology isn't what it is now with, you know, the fractals and all the neural DSP. So I had a Pod Pro.
Okay.
And not knocking the Pod, but we were also with in-ear monitors. And after part of the tour was over, I recognized my hands were really aching. Because I was trying to just get that. I was trying to get tone out of this thing that I was used to, the very different gear. So obviously, you know, I'm still a tube-amp guy. All the modeling and stuff is coming a long way. And it's not easy. Like the gig I'll do tonight, we're in Warsaw, Poland, as you probably know by watching his channel. But I make sure I'm going to have the two, you know, amps I normally use. I brought my very heavy pedal board. Because tonight will be the most important gig I ever do. Every gig is like that for me. It doesn't matter if it's 50 people or 5,000. Because it's all I got.
Oh yeah, no, you're playing.
Everything that I did, you know, last week, 30, 40 years ago, doesn't matter. You know, I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let the people down. So it's kind of a good way to go through life, is treating everything like it's important, and it is, you know, and it's how I treat people, how I move around in the world. It's like that. I take
that I can say, like,
you know, it's not that hard, but it's just caring about what you do and the effect it may have on other people. You know,
but like with you talking about practicing to get the tone. I have a story like which directly links myself when I was 19 to me being now 32 and talking to you. When I was 19, I bought a Mesa Lone Star because of you. Because there's one thing that I want to talk about the cover album you did playing the Beatles. Which for me it was like,
thank you, man.
Absolutely groundbreaking. Absolutely. Like, how can you take something which is so beloved and then actually superimpose yourself on top of that, and it works?
That was a tall
issue. I'm going to pin that in a second. And I bought that Lone Star. And I was in a place when I was playing guitar and I'm kind of getting pro with it. And I got this amp and it sounded nothing like you do. Like absolutely nothing. And I was buying all the pedals, like all the spare money I had, I was buying.
Man. Do I owe you? Do I owe you a refund or something?
I'm good. You can Venmo me later. But still, and I sold that amp like a while later. Fast forward to like I think 2 years back, and I had the same thing when I was chasing the tone, and I found the recordings of me being 19 playing that amp via the telly, like the old Japanese telly, and that was the sound. And like I had, first of all, I had to grow up. That's first, and second, I had to spend countless hours with the instrument to get that the tone was already there. I was the one who wasn't. That's
an amp you have to draw it out of the amp. It's not easy, you know, because I mean, I eventually used it. I gravitated towards it in 2005 because the lead channel, it wasn't oversaturated and it was too much low end. I had to dial, and it was not fizzy, so it worked well with hitting the front of it with a tube screamer or the BB preamp. But then over time, and almost by a happy accident, I realized that I really enjoyed the clean channel, setting it up as a pedal platform. And that's what I've done ever since. And that's what you'll hear tonight when I play, if you're coming. You are invited.
Yeah, I know. I'm already on the guest list, but...
No, I don't want to see it. But anyway.
Anyway, yeah. So, roll back, playing and choosing the gear. There's a lot of talk about serving the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
How do you go about this? Like, what does it mean for you to serve the song?
Well, it's everything. In every musical situation I'm in, that's the goal. What needs to happen? So if playing with Olivia, who I mentioned, it was, you know, she's kind of a pop, country, jazz, you know, so I had to let go of, you know, what would Andy normally do and replicate those songs the best I could. And I was the band leader, and I expected that out of everybody. I never made charts. I said, listen to the record. That's your starting point.
Yeah.
Get as close.
If you want to have charts, you have to.
And there was room for everybody to play a bit, you know. She loved that. But the thing is, you know, my goal and my job was like, that one person coming to see her that one time in their life that means something to them. Let's make her, you know, just shine the best we can. It's not about, hey, look at that flashy guitar player back there. But then, or in Simon Phillips's group, which was, you know, very different than my own music, where it's pretty advanced kind of fusion, odd time signatures, and harmony that doesn't have thirds in it, which is completely foreign to me. So way out of my comfort zone, but trying to, you know, bring myself into the thing. And, you know, and Simon and I are rockers at heart.
Yeah.
So I would bring that element certainly to.
So you would lean more into that element.
Absolutely that. Yeah. But, you know, I love the band he has now. He's got more fusion-y guys. And I think that better suits the music. Yeah. But we do have a good connection. And we'll do more together, I think. But then in terms of my music, again, it's the same thing we talked about earlier. It's just the instinct of and it's selfish.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's what do I want to hear? What you know, what am I trying to convey? Is it light and delicate? Is it heavy? You know, all these things. And then the experience I have with the different amps and the different guitars will draw me in certain directions because of that experience. And it may not always be correct at first. You know, I'm working on, we talked about Chopin when I got here, because I'm very happy to be in Warsaw. We went to the Chopin Museum yesterday, and we're going to the Holy Cross Church tomorrow. I wrote a song called Here Lies the Heart, which is very much referenced in where his heart is interred in the Holy Cross Church. Yeah. He died in Paris in 1849. And he made his older sister promise to, you could bury me in Paris, but please take my heart back to Poland, because Poland was in his heart. And so I took that, but above the heart, as it's interred in the Holy Cross Church, says, "Here rests the heart of Frédéric Chopin." But I remembered it as "Here lies the heart." But so I'm writing this set of music, all kind of based on what I love about Chopin's nocturnes. They're very, very simple, but
they're direct.
They're direct. They're direct, and it's extremely difficult. As Chopin I hope it's an accurate quote, but his quote is that, you know, simplicity is the final achievement.
Yeah,
and it's kind of true when you get down to it, all the technical flash and ability, but what is that one note? Can you get the one note to really have meaning and played in a certain way, at a certain dynamic? You know, with a certain feel, you know, that's the players that I really learned from and grew from, be it Lukather or Carlton or Matheny, Mike Stern. There's so many that were such, I didn't realize it at the time, but like that they really had such command of time and harmony. And great tone that it made you feel something. And so I don't know why that's happening with them. I can admire certain other players, you know. Chet Baker was another guy for me. He's a jazz trumpet guy. Yeah. Kind of a tragic case because he was a lifelong heroin addict. But there was something about his playing that moved me more than most others. And apparently he couldn't tell you the harmony. He couldn't tell you what chord it was.
He just felt it.
It was always in the moment, and that's what it was. You know, it wasn't. I never heard him play licks. Yeah. But he navigated the harmony in the most natural way, and apparently, you know, again, his actual lifestyle didn't really match the person who he really was, because the drugs were a really bad thing for him, and he could do horrible things to get his drugs. But the true heart came out in his playing, and so I'm always looking for that kind of inspiration, because beyond technique, we really need something that connects. Not to the 30-second fans of flashy things, and I love it too, man. I mean, so many great technically adept players. Not that they can't have feel, but it's those moments that touch me that make me want to go that direction.
Yeah, but also like sometimes I feel like the flashiness is the main point for them, whereas it should be the other thing, like make me feel things.
Yeah, but again, it's in a world of short attention span.
Yes,
that's a problem, and I fear that you know, even though these short pieces of mine are sometimes 2.5 and up to 4 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Am I going to have a hard time getting people to let that wash over them?
To actually inhale that.
There's plenty of listeners, and I've been getting a lot of positive feedback. And don't worry, I'm still going to shred, and because I love everything about music. I just like a broader palette. I like light and dark, and I like, you know, red and blue. It's whatever is on that palette. I just like the pursuit of having more to paint from, if we think of it as painting or art. So that's the goal.
Oh my days! Okay. Then following more onto that, being Andy Timmons. So like this is very much
John like being John Malkovich.
Yeah, Malkovich, basically. So I had that pin with the Beatles records.
Oh yes, thank you.
So for you, with your vocabulary on the guitar and your tone and you being you, and then you tackle something which is already adult and massive.
Yeah.
And how do you find space for you in that? Well, you've played absolute magic on that record.
Thank you.
100%. But how, from your perspective, how do you go about finding the place, or like this becoming a part of you?
Well, there's never a conscious, what about me? It was, but there's a direct line of things that had to happen before I was able to do that.
Yeah.
So going back to Resolution in 2004, 5, 6, when it finally came out, that was the first record that I had the idea because of something Steve Vai said. You know, we did that was the This Is Now collection of my Ear Ecstasy 1 and 2 records, and Steve wanted 4 new songs to put on there: Super 70s, Pink Champagne Sparkle, Beautiful Strange, and there was a song called Falling Down. And it was just very simple. But I didn't do it, for some reason I didn't do any overdubs, and he just had this one passing comment. So I really love when it's one guitar because I can hear the fingers on the frets.
Yeah.
And I knew what he meant because it's intimate, and if I back that gain down, you're really hearing, you know, whatever I am, it's coming through in that moment. So we'd already tracked the basic tracks for Resolution, and I was playing live with a trio, and some parts were going to be rhythm, and sometimes I'd improvise solos.
Yeah.
And by that time, I was just a little burned out on the instrumental guitar way of doing things. You know, rhythm guitar, double the rhythm guitar, put keyboards here or there, maybe, and then play these melodies, maybe harmonize, maybe double. So the idea of Steve Vai saying to me, I thought it was just one guitar. After hearing back the playbacks, and I wasn't happy with what I improvised, I was just kind of like,
that's not that.
I wasn't feeling like I'm doing anything that lives up to, I want to keep growing. So what if I could do a whole record with just one guitar, no overdubs?
Okay.
So then it was really hard, but I had to kind of reinvent, how I was playing, because I had to fill out more harmony. Therefore, songs like, because I wouldn't play it,
I literally have shivers. Like
it is cold in here. No, it's but so it comes from, and that started happening because of jazz experience.
Yeah. What is it, flat 5? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I had the melody in my head. It was written on 9/11, called Gone, and I had to find the harmony. And I was using my ears because I've never played a minor 7 flat 5. Have you played this version?
This inversion? No, this one, yeah.
But never.
Yeah, that one.
But you have to, usually when you're playing chord melody, you're supporting from underneath.
Yeah.
So it comes from Julian.
Yeah.
And all my love of jazz and that kind of harmony. So just figuring out what I could play to best fill out the songs. And it was a great challenge, and really took me, a year or so to really kind of get to the point where I was okay. And so then fast forward, we were on tour in Italy, and I had done an arrangement for Strawberry Fields.
I remember that on YouTube, like a bootleg.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I haven't found the album yet. Living in Poland, being 18, and thinking mostly about girls and guitars.
These are good things.
Yeah, exactly. And I found this. I found the Strawberry Fields. And then I found that you recorded the album. And I had to rip it because I had no money on me.
That's okay, man.
But
however you get to it.
Yeah, but that was like absolutely magical.
Well, so here's another thing. So the resolution thing, I had to really push myself and do things I wasn't sure I could do. And then I had that one arrangement, and my promoter, Riccardo Capelli in Italy, saw that Beatles track was really, going over well. He said, you should do a whole night of Beatles next time. I'm like, oh man, I can't do that. Okay. So my first thought was self-defeating.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, if you think you can't, you can't. But then I just started. So it became a hobby. I started trying different. But then one day I stumbled on.
Yeah.
It's a keyboard line, but it works great on guitar.
But also the way you play, like there's some small changes in time which are very extremely you. When you listen to your discography, all the songs you did, you don't play in even time. It is very much jazzy. Now that you said
when you
about
say
it,
even time, do you mean that my
no, it's just like if you put the metronome on,
right?
It's like it's not evenly spaced, it's not quantized. And then you go.
Because that's how I can. Yeah. But that again, talking about Matheny, talking about Wes, talking about Luke.
Exactly.
They were all masters of this. The metronome is ongoing. This is always happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a lot of times physically, always internally.
But then you
can place.
Yeah.
But that's because. That's.
It's fun when you have the TV on. Yeah. That's all.
Great, but the dynamic and really putting that note exactly. I have very specific intent.
Yeah.
About where I think something will feel the best, and every phrase you hear me play, that whatever the mechanism, whatever the experience is, that's happening in just real time subconsciously.
Yeah.
Because of again, it's all these great pieces of music that, and in the Chopin lexicon, when you get a wonderful interpreter, like my favorite version of the Chopin nocturnes is Ivan Moravec. Moravec.
We'll put it somewhere.
Not really sure. For whatever reason, I get more feeling from him. Now, the Arthur Rubinstein has recorded the most famous version of the nocturnes, and they sound great, but I don't get the emotion. So there's you gotta once you find your favorite composer and the favorite works, then you have to find your favorite interpreter.
Yeah.
But
coming back to that keyboard part.
Yeah.
And you had that, and on the record it's like da 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 da.
Yeah.
I've counted it in bad, but then you played with da 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 do da da do da da do da da, like this, even so small, it's not even noticeable.
I like it to sit a certain way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you talking about jazz,
Yeah.
which I kind of knew, but I never knew how much impact it had on you.
It informs everything that I do, because again, rock players being rock players, they maybe not as educated, but there's a great feel and great energy from rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
That's my foundation. But what I was getting from jazz was, real virtuosic playing and control of dynamic, but mostly also voice leading.
Yeah.
Where rock players, we tend to, I'm in the key of A minor, shred my pentatonics. I know modes now, so it's alien, woo! And this is all extremely valid, and I learned all of that. But what the jazz guys are kind of, maybe not at all times, but they really have to voice lead, because the harmony tends to be more complex. Not always. Yeah. Sometimes, so what is 2 chords, or impressions is 2 chords. But the act of navigating a 2-5-1, and when you can play a scale, it'll be okay. So, but it taught me was to really know what the chord tones were. And if I play a note, is it a chord tone or not chord tone? But so when I'm playing, almost exclusively, whatever chord is happening is what's going on in my process, and I'm going to know what that third is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to know what every tension note is, and whatever the direction of the line that I'm trying to get out there. You'll hear that third featured at some point, likely, or one of the more important color tones, like on that I went,
yeah,
well, the flat. So if I go to the flat 9, and then, you know, so that it's tension and release. So if I go,
but even on how you don't play much here. It's like it's 2 notes.
Yeah.
Da-da, and then you just move it around the fret. But it's like we have no amps in the room, as you probably can hear or see. And then even on that, you can hear the dynamics of you playing, and this is you being you. Like you can't fake that.
Yeah.
Which is leading to my next question. Then. So then you do.
Can you come with me everywhere I go, and I can have you in my front pocket?
100%.
I could take you out and say these nice little things.
Yeah, no. I can record that. And I'm going to send that to you. I need an email.
I'm kidding. No. Very sweet.
So then you do. You did with Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
All the stuff that are you, but in a different light.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we touched a bit on that. How do you find the ways for you to dial down being Andy Timmons when you have to play with somebody else and you have to fill out the space, but you know you can't be the main dish.
But it's okay. There's an art to serving the song.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me that was let me learn, because a lot of those songs were written and produced by John Ferrer, who's a great guitar player.
Yeah.
So it was always a challenge to try to get that right. But it's still going to be me playing it, like you say with the Beatles stuff. It's still going to be filtered through my prism, and I don't feel it's dialing back. It's just I would say it's more difficult than some of the flashy virtuoso guys have any clue to do it properly. You know, you can put a lot of virtuoso guys in Olivia's band, and man, it would be epic fail because they wouldn't understand necessarily that ability to serve the song and what it means to be a great rhythm guitar player. Not saying I'm a great rhythm guitar player, but it's an art, you know, and I love that as much as Simon's band. Of course, I most enjoy playing my own music, but you know, it was a real joy. I mean, I just loved her, and so for me to do it for 15 years, it was kind of perfect because she just worked a month or 2 or 3 maybe each year and spread it out. And she treated me so great. Was a dear friend, you know. So I really miss her a lot. And I'd have other offers for maybe big rock bands and stuff along the way.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy being with that particular artist or group of people. But I loved her, so it's like she had my loyalty in that, and it gave me plenty of time to do my own thing. You know?
That's so cool.
You know, but it was. I never felt like, except at the end of the day, you want to have more room to be your true artistic self. But again, as a working guitar player, you know, being an instrumental guitar player didn't necessarily always pay the bills, you know. So I was very fortunate that I did love all this other kind of music and was able to get asked by Simon or Olivia and do it hopefully in the best possible way I could and serve the music. And so, yeah, you know, I'm really proud of that stuff just because I like being a team player. I like being a side guy. Even in Danger, that was more me being kind of a side guy.
Yeah.
I'd gone down a fusion and jazzy path, then landed back in a rock and roll gig that, you know, I love because Kiss was my first concert, you know, back in 1976. I saw them on the Destroyer tour.
Oh my
So,
days.
you know, we have 13 years later, we're opening for them. You know, I never could have imagined in a million years that would happen. But I enjoyed it a lot. But then, after that kind of fell by the wayside, then I released Ear Ecstasy, which I'd been recording throughout the entire period with Danger.
Okay.
I go back to Texas and record with my guys. And so, you know, again, that was a great education. And that helped me further define, because at that point in my life, you know, it seemed like the Holy Grail. I'm in a band on a major label. It just seemed like an unattainable, you know, kind of fairy tale. You know, I grew up in a relatively small town in Evansville, Indiana. So it just didn't seem like that was just like fantasy land. But then somehow I just kept working at becoming a better player. And that's still what I want to do today. I still want to work towards that. And my career has kind of just happened. I couldn't have planned any of it.
It just worked.
I just, you know, if you can just stay on the path of becoming the best version of you, you know, and through that and just being good to people, we were talking about that earlier, you know, these are things that really, really, really matter, you know, and there's certainly a good amount of good fortune.
Yeah.
Being in places where I can be seen and then recommended, you know, it all kind of happened along the way, but I couldn't have planned any of it. I'm just very thankful that we're sitting here now, and I'm in Warsaw, you know, playing to a sold out crowd tonight. Yeah. And it's an Ibanez clinic, but it's still a great amount of people to have that many people still interested and want to know about my music.
Yeah.
I couldn't have ever dreamed of being in this position because I was growing up reading all the guitar magazines and seeing, you know, Steve Morse and all these different great guitar heroes. And anyway. If not comparing myself to Steve, but you understand what I'm saying.
If a 12-year-old you would see you now,
insane.
Like would he believe that you came all this way?
It's inconceivable. It's absolutely, it didn't even enter my mind. I don't even think in a fantasy world did I ever dream that, you know, you'd be in a rock band, you'd be touring the world, and then eventually, you know, doing your own music in your own way, and if people dig my music or the tone or whatever it is about my playing, I'm extremely honored and humbled by that. But I know 12-year-old me wouldn't believe it. And right now, even now, I'm like, all right, well, I know I'm working hard and I love it, so I'll just keep going as long as I can, trying to. It's what Jeff Beck did. You know, like I said, we were talking before. I think before the cameras were on, where, you know, I was mentioning that my original pickup was a Jeff Beck, and you said it's like, oh yeah, well, his influence has been there for a long time. But so I had 3 older brothers, and my oldest brother was 12 years older than I. So being born in '63, he bought all the British invasion stuff. So starting with the Beatles, the Dave Clark 5, the Kinks, but then he was into the Yardbirds. So I heard Shapes of Things, and that solo in 1965, way before Hendrix. There's this feedback and fuzz and like really adventurous playing. He could have stopped there and already have been one of the great guitar.
It's like, you don't have
but
to
then he did the Jeff Beck group, and it's becoming the template for Led Zeppelin. Then he did the Mahavishnu style stuff with Jan Hammer. Yeah, he never wanted to repeat himself. He kept evolving and changing, and I can see that. Again, not comparing, but I've done similar things like the Resolution record.
You 100% did. Like, I can say that you don't have to. Well, you did. Yeah.
But there is a trajectory that, and I find him ultimately inspiring because of that. Because then, you know, 2015 he does Emotion and Commotion. Yeah. And I finally heard him capture what I had seen and heard and felt in that first concert I saw in 1999. So infinitely it's inspiring, and I'm sad that he's gone. He left us too early, and I thought he'd be around for another 20 years. But the body of work and just the idea of what he did can be ultimately inspiring. Whether you don't have to aspire to play like Jeff, but that ethos of like, I just want to keep getting better, you know, and reach a deeper level of expression, you know, because I do feel like we're just scratching the surface. Yeah. That's the beauty and the joy of the guitar is, you know, piano is piano, and there's a lot of expression that can happen. But with the ability to have that kind of dynamic, but also to be able to bend the strings and really have in vibrato, to really sing, you know, it's unique to the guitar in that way.
And then you go in 2 axes, and you can have the same note sounding completely different.
Oh, it's everywhere. It's incredible the sonic variety. And I do spend, when I'm composing, I spend a lot of time experimenting with register, and you know, it's gonna be here, gonna be here, gonna be here. You know, where's it gonna sound the best? And have the, you know, wherever it would be. This is gonna be tougher.
Oh yeah.
You know, not likely, so but you never know.
So many things I want to ask you, and then my brain is racing to pick the best one. Okay, so on this one, when composing, do you have like all the colors of the song in mind as well?
Zero ever. I'm in touch with a lot of songs start with just an idea. Yeah. And it usually happens when I'm not really thinking about it too much. I can sit down and write a song right now. We can have an exercise. And I'll write something, it'll probably be okay. Because my instincts, I call it the aurelect, which is your your musical memory coming through your intent, you know, and it's based on all these things we've taken in that we love. Like this song here. It's just Resolution. It's just a simple little melody that came from, we were working on the Resolution record, and the ethos that we had for the recording was no EQ, mic placement. Let me get the sound right with the amps, the pedals, and that's it.
That's all.
So my bass player, Mike Dane, my bass player and co-producer, and he engineered all the guitar tracks. He'd be out in the studio, you know, moving mics, but I'd play quietly, and that riff just happened as I'm noodling around. Yeah. I just kept coming back to it. And he finally, at the end of the day, says, "We should finish that." You know, all right. Mm-hmm. So I wrote this whole song. It was based on this little thing that happened. And there's a lot of songs that can happen through kind of accidental flow, or there's a lot of songs that I write with a specific intent.
Yeah.
On Your Way, Sweet Soul. A little simple ballad. I just came up with a simple chord pattern. My best friend's cat had passed away. And so I was just writing a song for her because I knew she was really, really, you know, she lost her soulmate. It's a family member, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't expect anyone would ever hear it, but then, you know, my engineer heard it, I think, and hey, we had to record that. So, but I'm just, you know, I'm very much influenced by whatever the emotion is I'm trying to convey. But it's kind of a if this then that situation where if I have an A minor, you know, if I have a certain color, I'm already hearing what I'd like to hear next.
Yeah. In my head, you have a G down below. Then
it could have been
after you play that.
That's your dialect.
Yeah.
That's you. That's your musical mind working, and that's beautiful. It didn't line up with me then. I could pass through there.
Yeah.
But you see that everything kind of dictated what happened next. Color tone.
Then, like the way I hear that, you go. So.
Because of the air conditioning. Nicely done.
Yeah, thank you. So you do that.
Yeah.
Da da da.
Oh, you were hearing the harmony.
Yeah, I'm not hearing the way you play because I can't predict what you're going to play.
Sure.
The only thing I kinda can predict is the way how in my head the resolution goes.
Okay.
And then I would go.
That's an obvious thing. And so as you're saying that, I know the G was not going to happen. So I'm just and then maybe now play the F. Now I want to go somewhere. Now, okay, we've heard A to F a million times.
Yeah.
Where can we go? Do 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 do, and then do 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 do.
We could go to. We could go.
Yeah. That's staying in the key. So I want to pull on an emotional string here. So I don't have any plan. I have to find it in real time. But I might be. Where could I go that would, your mind would expect the melody but not the harmony. You know what I mean? So I want to go somewhere out of the key though, but it has to be, I love common tone modulations. Like you might imply the third of another chord, a third of another chord, but then it becomes the third of another chord a half step away. That could be a thing. So,
I was thinking about this one.
That's a real.
But then again, you go back to 251.
That would be the most traditional thing to do. Or that's gonna be tougher to do. So,
but then we go very much into Ted Green territory.
No, but okay. So only saying that, we don't have the time for me to go through this necessarily. Nothing brilliant or you know, what I would like to hear came through. But I would spend that time if I felt strongly enough about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
I would figure out a way to draw it out of the key, because that was just going down to G minor. Or I would find another pitch level where it would have more emotional content.
But we could circle back to like this G, but use that as a root.
Yeah, okay. That's going to be 2/5 to the 4 chord.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's C major. That's
But
also a little lame.
you were mentioning something that the 12-year-old you wouldn't even comprehend. Yeah. Now I can't believe, like honestly, that I had the courage to pick up a guitar.
And beautiful. Play, thank you for doing so.
Play with you, because like again, I'm just like Jesus Christ.
I'm digging that more. Now we're getting somewhere. So what did I do? I went to C minor. So play the chords for me. A minor. And then F. C minor. No. Wow, fuck, I didn't like that as much as I thought I did. Sorry for the language.
We're gonna beep it out.
So go to the C minor again. B flat. And then E7. So, but that's the kind, it's like a game. I'm just trying to find things that will be different than something I've done before, and that might just kind of take you out of the norm a little bit. And that can be, I call it the turn the corner moment, like. Yeah. And that comes from when we're touring around the world with the band, you know. I remember being in Pisa one day, we're walking down this narrow alley. Then you turn a corner, and there's the Leaning Tower, and this huge, you know, courtyard, and it's beautiful. I'm looking for that in music too, you know, the turn the corner. Oh my God, look at that. You know?
Find something beautiful again.
Exactly that. Yeah. So perhaps we'll hear this in a more developed state at some point, but
100%, 100%.
It'll be the worst.
I think like that's the best the best conversation I had in a lifetime. So
come on, man.
Thank you very much,
very
man.
Sweet.
Like,
thank you very much.
Thank you. And then, like, if you want to find Andy Timmons, you know where to find him. Like,
I'm in the store in Warsaw.
Next time he's going to be here. Next time he's going to be here, like here. So you have to track him down.
Please do.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
See you.